Hello class! I'd like to apologize for the error with Module 14. I'm unsure as to what happened. The module was set to go Sunday at 12 a.m. or Monday at 12 a.m. Like every week, but for some reason I wasn't aware of until a few hours ago that it didn't go live, the module didn't go live, and that the adjustments that I made to this week's assignments had completely been reverted. I'm not sure how this happened, but I'm currently working with someone as to figure out why. But I did have a lot of this information saved already in my own personal files, so I was able to update this, upload it again. And I did take into account that you're pretty much minus 2 days from Monday, and we have a holiday this weekend. So I did cut down on some of the assignments that you had due, but this does kind of set us back a tiny bit. So I want to take some time to go over what you have assigned for this week and what you are going to have due next week that was originally going to be due this week. So for Module 14, for this week only, Tuesday, I guess, till Sunday, you will read Chapter 3 of Modern Romance, and you will submit an annotated bibliography of the sources that you plan on using in your research paper. So let's review what this entails. For Modern Romance, this is a book that you should have already purchased. This is, Chapter 3 is about online dating, and I think it's definitely pertinent to our advantages and disadvantages essay assignment. I noticed that a few of you in your proposals were writing on online dating and how that affects romantic relationships or how that affects teenagers. And this chapter could potentially be used in your research paper. Overall, though, I think this is a really interesting chapter. Keep in mind, though, this is the longest chapter of the book, and this is in part due because there are a lot of images, pictures, graphs that discuss pretty much like the pros and cons of online dating. So you will read this chapter and you'll answer a few questions that you will submit as an annotation. And there's 4 questions that you need to answer, which are pretty straightforward. These are due on Sunday, December 1st. And aside from reading the Chapter 3 and submitting these annotations, this is all you have due between now and Sunday because obviously we're set back, but because Thanksgiving is in a few days and I want to make sure that you do have enough time to spend with your family. However, aside from that, there are some other things that you need to start working on that aren't going to be due until next week. Your annotated bibliography is essentially a document that lists the sources you're going to be using in your research paper. So although you won't be submitting this week, you want to get started on researching, some light reading, and annotating. I've provided an example of an annotated bibliography, but this page really just discusses like what is an annotation. So overall, during the semester, we've been discussing, you've been uploading annotation assignments. And this is kind of similar. If you think about annotations and what that means, it's a comment or a note on something. So what you'll be doing is you'll be making a commentary on a specific source that you plan on using in your paper. And this page here just describes what an annotation is, how it's helpful to you, and the next page talks about the actual assignment in itself. You will be using 3 sources from the library databases, which you should have already reviewed how to use. I did put some contact information here to talk with a librarian, or if you need help researching, or you can reach out to me as well. The annotations that you'll be writing for this assignment are somewhere between 200 and 250 words, so that's not much. And within those words, you have to point to these 4 things here: the qualifications of the author, the summary of the text, how this specific work is useful in your essay, and how does it compare with other works that you plan on using in the essay. I've also provided a direct example here, and this is a student example that someone submitted last semester, which I think is super helpful. And here is that example. Your annotated bibliography should be cited or formatted just like an essay, where you have, remove that, last name, first name at the top, your name, my name, the class, the date the assignment is due, titled Annotated Bibliography, and this is what an annotation looks like. You have the source cited, like you would in a works cited page, and then a short commentary. She went a little long on these. Yours are probably going to be much shorter. But here she discusses the qualifications of the author, what the text is about, how she plans on using this text, and how it compares to others. And she presents 6 sources overall. So I recommend that you look at the example, because once you see the example, you'll know, okay, this is exactly what I need to do. It's a pretty straightforward assignment, but it is a little time consuming. But this is worth a significant amount of points towards your research paper, and you have 1 week from today to get this completed and uploaded onto Canvas. So this is going to be due December 3rd, so next Tuesday. Originally, this was to be due on Sunday, but obviously we're short on time now, so I've extended that deadline. The other thing that you're going to want to get started on is an outline. I'll review this a little later this week, because I don't want to overwhelm you too much. This is going to be due next Thursday, so December 5th. And overall, what you're going to be providing me is an outline of your essay assignment, just the thesis statement, and just your body paragraphs. You're not going to write the introduction, and you're not going to write the conclusion. I've provided a template here that I'd like you to use. Just copy and paste this into your own word processor or text processor, Google Docs or Word, and write what the purpose statement is, what the thesis statement is, the topic sentence of your first body paragraph, an explanation, supports and details, evidence, and then how it relates to your thesis. And I've provided an exact example of this below. So here I've provided an example purpose statement, and I've also provided an example working thesis. I've also provided an example outline of a paragraph right here. Once you read it, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. And right above that, I provided just a general overview of the paragraphs my essay is going to be on. So if this is my working thesis above, then this is what my first body paragraph is going to be. This is what my second body paragraph is going to be, third, fourth, and so on. And for each of these, I'm going to write an outline. So here, discussion on how these changes are positive. Let's say this is the outline to my third body paragraph. This would be my topic sentence. Politicians use social media platforms. Politicians' use of social media platforms have had positive outcomes on campaigns, and I provide a little bit more background. I talk about Barack Obama, typo, and Donald Trump, and then I talk about Obama in my first supporting point only and explain how he won his election using social media, and the same thing with Donald Trump, and then I explain how these ideas are important to the thesis, or how they support my thesis. And I've broken that rationale down here as well. So for your research outline, you're going to present a purpose statement, a thesis statement, and a detailed structure of all of your body paragraphs using this template. For this outline, you should have cited sources. So you, at this point, would have already known what you're going to use as far as research. So you already know what quotes you're going to be using. And I want you to present that all to me, because I'm going to be looking at your outlines really closely and providing comments on it, so that you can develop a really strong draft based on that outline. And again, this is going to be due on December 5th. Originally, it was going to be due on Sunday, brain fart, but now it will be due on the 5th. And that will complete this specific module, 14. So module 14, you have to do a few things. Obviously, you have to get these 2 things done, because that's what's due this week. But next week on Tuesday and Thursday, you have 2 assignments due: the annotated bibliography and your outline assignment. You will also have some other things to do next week as well, so we don't fall more behind. But we'll talk about that on Monday of next week in Module 15. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm sorry this error happened. I'm not trying to cause any more stress to anyone. And I look forward to any of your comments or responses or anything to do with this week, this assignment, or just a debrief overall. Cheers!